Look at human skin color. Some people are very dark, some are very pale. Many are somewhere between, in shades that shift across regions and populations. At first, this seems like surface variation, cosmetic, incidental, the kind of difference that does not go very deep. But skin is not just a surface, it's an organ, the largest organ in the body. It is exposed to sunlight constantly, it regulates temperature, it produces vitamin D, and it has been shaped by evolution across hundreds of thousands of years in ways that are still being studied. So why did humans end up with such dramatically different skin colors? Was it random chance? Was it sunlight? Was it diet? Or is human skin carrying an older story than most people realize? Before asking why skin differs between populations, we need to ask a more fundamental question. Why does skin color exist at all as a variable trait? Human skin gets its color primarily from a pigment called melanin. Melanin is produced by specialized cells called melanocytes, which sit in the outer layers of the skin. More melanin makes the skin darker, less melanin makes it lighter. And the amount of melanin any given person produces is shaped by genetics, specific variants in genes that regulate melanocyte activity. This much is straightforward. What is less straightforward is why those gene variants are distributed across the world the way they are. Why darker skin is more common near the equator, why lighter skin is more common at higher latitudes, why the pattern holds, imperfectly with many exceptions, across populations that have lived in specific regions for thousands of years. The answer begins with the sun. Ultraviolet radiation from the sun does two things to human skin that work in opposite directions. On one side, UV radiation destroys folate. Folate is a B vitamin essential for DNA repair, cell division, and healthy fetal development. In pregnant women, severely low folate levels raise the risk of serious birth defects. UV radiation can deplete folate in the bloodstream, which, in environments with intense year-round sun, creates a genuine biological problem. Melanin absorbs UV before it penetrates deeply into the skin. In high UV environments, more melanin means better folate protection. On the other side, UV radiation is also necessary. The skin uses a specific wavelength of UV to synthesize vitamin D, a molecule essential for calcium absorption, bone strength, immune function, and overall health. Without enough UV reaching the skin, vitamin D production drops and serious deficiency follows. In environments with weak or seasonal sunlight, darker skin that blocks most UV becomes a disadvantage, reducing the body's ability to produce the vitamin it needs. This creates a conflict that sunlight intensity resolves differently depending on latitude. Near the equator, sunlight is intense and year-round. The risk of UV destroying folate is high. The risk of vitamin D deficiency is low, even in darker skin. Selection favored more melanin. Near the poles, sunlight is weak and seasonal. The risk of UV deficiency is high in people with very dark skin. The risk of UV overexposure is minimal. Selection favored less melanin. The result, across thousands of generations of humans living in different environments, was a gradient in skin pigmentation, roughly tracking UV intensity from equator to poles. This pattern is not a perfect map. Human groups move, populations mix. Genes that were useful in one environment travel with people into others. Chance plays a role, and the relationship between latitude and skin tone has many exceptions, but the broad pattern holds, and the mechanism behind it is well established.
Now we can go beneath the surface. Skin color is not controlled by one gene. It is influenced by many genes working together, each contributing slightly to the overall amount and distribution of melanin produced. Researchers have identified several genes that account for a large portion of variation in skin tone between populations. One of the most studied, called SLC24A5, carries a single variant that accounts for a substantial portion of the difference in skin tone between European and African populations. One variant in one gene does not explain everything, but it illustrates how significant single changes can be when they spread through a population over generations. Other genes regulate different aspects of melanin production: how much is made, what type is made, how it distributes through skin cells. The interaction of all of them produces the full range of human skin color, from the deepest brown to the palest pink. But here's where we have to be careful. Skin color is not a simple climate map. You cannot look at someone's skin and read their entire ancestry, environment, or history. Evolution is never that clean. Populations have moved, mixed, experienced bottlenecks, and carried traits into environments where those traits were no longer under the same selection pressure. Some variants spread through chance rather than selection. Others may have been influenced by what people found attractive over generations. The honest answer lives at several levels at once.
Skin color is also deeply cultural. Long before modern society gave it social meaning, humans were painting, marking, protecting, and decorating skin. Skin color became entangled with group identity, status, and belonging in ways that varied enormously across cultures and time periods. The biological story became a social story. Something shaped by UV gradients and vitamin D chemistry became one of the most loaded visible differences between people. And this is where the science meets something important. The biological variation in human skin color reflects adaptation to different environments across a species that spread from Africa into every corner of the planet. It does not reflect meaningful differences in cognition, capacity, or worth. Geneticists studying human diversity consistently find that variation within any population defined by skin color is greater than variation between such populations. The visible surface differences are real. The deeper biological meaning assigned to them by historical social systems is not supported by the evidence. So why do humans have different skin colors? Because the same body traveled into different environments. Because UV radiation solves different problems at the equator and the poles. Because melanin protects folate in one environment and blocks vitamin D synthesis in another. Because genetics, migration, chance, and thousands of years of human movement produced a spectrum rather than a single answer. Skin color is not decoration, it is not hierarchy, it is adaptation, imperfect, complicated, shaped by conditions most of us will never experience, carried by ancestors we will never meet. A record of where the human body has been. And the more carefully we study it, the less it divides us, and the more it reveals a single species that solved the same fundamental problems in different ways, in different places, across a very long and still unfinished journey.